Scope scoop of a Formula 5000 car peeked over a rise in a sleepy Long Beach the first time in 1975. Now, it's the CART Indy cars on the same roads in a boomtown as their scream echoes off the hull of the majestic Queen Mary. Because it's race day in Southern California. Hello, I'm Paul Page, and welcome once again to Speed World. Today, the streets of Long Beach, California. The sun shines down for the 10th Toyota Long Beach Grand Prix. Now, 10 races ago, it was most of these IndyCar drivers then racing in the Formula 5000. Then the Formula One took over, and now the IndyCar drivers have returned, but there are a number of Formula One drivers here as well, including Bruno Giacomelli, Roberto Guerrero, and twice world champion Emerson Fittipaldi. Also, Mario Andretti, world champion as well. He sits on the pole. And the success of CART Championship Auto Racing teams is certainly evident here today. The crowd is magnificent. And think of the purse. 5 years ago, when Gordon Johncock won the first CART race at Phoenix, he made some money. Today, the last place finisher will make more than Gordon Johncock made in that first race for finishing first. Now, let's go down and meet the front row for the Long Beach Grand Prix. Here's Gary Gerould.
Well, Paul, the influence of the Formula One days here at Long Beach very much in evidence in the front row. Mario Andretti, former Long Beach Grand Prix winner, former world champion, has the pole position. Alongside Derek Daly, with great Formula One experience and also a contender in the past here on the streets of Long Beach. Mario, you come into this situation, and we must know, the past races that you've had here, how significant a factor is that driving experience at Long Beach in this race today?
Well, experience is always experience. It's something they can always put to good use, and that's what we strive for all our lives, and sometimes we get it to put to our advantage, and again, I think, as you said, it shows a little bit. I think the type of discipline in driving that it takes to drive around here sometimes is helpful.
You start this season in spectacular fashion. Last year it was a bit of a thrash with a brand new Lola. You have an updated version this year. You must be impressed with the way the car has responded in testing and now in qualifying.
Well, our Budweiser team, I think, did their homework much better this winter. They had the time to do it, obviously, and just going in, I think we're much more ready for the season, and that's very, very gratifying.
All right, Mario, we turn over here on the other side of the front row, Derek Daly. Derek, among other things, is wired today in a medical experiment that we're going to be talking a bit more about later in the racing program. You've got some paraphernalia strapped in. Will you be able to put all of that out of your mind and concentrate on the task of trying to win this race?
Yes, I think so, because as soon as we get the green flag, I don't even know the stuff's on me. During qualifying, I couldn't feel it. They told me what my heartbeat was at, but I was never conscious that I was being measured or that anything different was happening.
It's an interesting experiment, as we say. We'll talk more about it later. I understand there's concern about being able to go the distance here, nearly 200 miles, on the fuel that is allotted. Is that a major concern for you and your crew?
It may become a major concern if the race is very competitive and very competitive right down to the last 20 laps. I think we're going to go at least two-thirds distance with normal race boost, and then just see from then on. Maybe I'll get instructions from the pit to turn it down, but I'll leave that to the team manager.
All right, Formula One veterans here in the front row as the Indy cars come to Long Beach. Let's go back a couple of rows in the pack now as we turn to Bruce Jenner.
Thank you, Gary, and there are a lot of similarities here. They're both starting on the same row. They're both driving for the same team, Craco. They're both sons of former world driving champion. They're both former winners here, Jeff Brabham and Michael Andretti. And we'll start with Jeff. Jeff, you won here in 1982 in the Atlantic car, and you know this course very well, but this year you're starting off with a very strong team, the Craco team, a very competitive car. You must be excited not only for this race, but for the entire season.
Well, I'm very excited. You know, the Craco really made a big effort to really put together a really good team this year, and starting the year off at the first race and doing the whole season is a bit new to me because I haven't done that for a while. So I'm very pleased, and you know, I love Long Beach, and I'm really hoping for a good race.
All right, you should be in there. First, Michael, for the longest time, for a couple of days there, you were qualified ahead of your dad. That had to be a good feeling.
Yeah, I must say it was a good feeling, but I had a feeling it wasn't going to last too long.
Did he say anything to you beforehand?
No, he was just happy for me, and he knew that he was going to go quicker, and I guess he was hoping I would go a little quicker, but I sort of evened out, I guess.
This is going to be your first year on the entire season. You ran a couple of races last year. Enthusiastic about it?
Very excited. We got a good team going here with this Craco team, the Electrolux Craco team, because We have been doing a lot of testing, and we've been really doing our homework, and I think that has a lot to do with where I'm sitting right now on the grid because of the team behind me.
All right. Well, you're looking good for the race. Should be a lot of fun. With some veterans back in the pack is our veteran, Johnny Rutherford.
Well, thank you, Bruce. I'm here with two of the guys that we don't normally see this far back in the pack. Rick Mears. What happened, Rick?
Well, evidently we haven't done our homework well enough. We just, we had a couple little problems during practice. Didn't really get enough lap time or as much as we'd liked, and just haven't got our balance out the way we'd like it yet.
Your guys told me they told you to pick a guy with rookie stripes and follow him. Is that right?
That's what I heard, and believe me, I think there's quite a few rookie stripes up there that we're going to have to follow.
Al Unser, you had a lot of problems.
Yeah, I did, John. I made a mistake yesterday and bent a car, and so consequently I had to start all over, and here we are back here in the back of the field.
You're in a strange car. You're in the PC-12 rather than the March, aren't you?
Well, as soon as I crashed the March, I had to, yes. It'll be all right.
You think so?
Yeah, we, wanted to run both cars, hopingly that we could find out what's going on, and I messed up.
All right. Well, there you have it. Up to you, Paul.
Well, these are the folks that get a free view of the Long Beach Grand Prix from the balconies and the windows overlooking the course. Over 55,000 have paid to be here. No one on the beaches today. They're all in the grandstands alongside Shoreline Drive. But one name being whispered up and down the main straightaway, that of Paul Newman. Well, the other evening, Paul said, we're going to qualify.
Chandler moves fast. Mario into turn one. The car of his is just working flawlessly. He doesn't have any trouble. They're not going to touch him all day, Paul.
Now here comes Michael Chandler around for the first time in third place. He's out and around Derek Daly, and little Al Unser begins to challenge Daly as well. So Daly, who started in second place, is having his problems.
Yes, look how Chandler pulls away on those little short straightaways when he gets in that throttle. It just leaps away from the other cars.
Of course, the car is a Dan Gurney Eagle. It's different than last year's. There's some new designing on it. A beautiful machine and some wonderful engineering by Dan Gurney, who wants a car that is all-American, the American stock block, American chassis.
Well, of course, Dan Gurney's operation is all-American racers. Here we have Teo again going into that bad bump transitioning. There's Michael Chandler. See that car jump? That is really bad. It's going to break some cars, I'm afraid.
Well, John, we do have a report that the problem with the Ligier is a broken half shaft, and that's just the kind of thing that can cause it, a bump like that. Mike Andretti now around both Roberto Guerrero and Jeff Brabham and begins to challenge Al Unser Jr. There is the lead, Andretti. Second place is Teo Fabi, and third place is Michael Chandler. They're evenly spaced. Here's the battle for fourth. Daly, Unser, and young Mike Andretti.
You know, Paul, I wonder if there's something wrong with Daly's car, if it's not quite handling or running properly, because he's been steadily moving backward.
Well, Al tries him on the inside. Mike closes in. Mike Andretti's car has been running particularly well here in the early going. Guerrero comes around Jeff Brabham and closes in behind Mike Andretti now.
You know, this tight part of the course where the things can really jump off of the turn across those straightaways is a lot of fun to watch, to see these cars very close like this.
Well, Derek Daly has his hands full holding off Al Unser Jr., and Mike Andretti is ready to attack right behind. This is a battle for fourth place. Daly, remember, started in second position on the front row, but he's had to hold off a challenge and lost to both Fabi and Chandler, and now appears to be losing the battle to little Al.
Well, little Al certainly putting pressure on, and you can see him come across that bump, heading for this tight turn, going back out onto the front straightaway. Al should be ready to do something here if he's going to get her done.
The first car out, Kevin Cogan's Ligier. Now, Kevin Cogan is with Gary Gerould.
Paul, here's Kevin Cogan, who came back on a motorcycle, not the way he wanted to come back to the pits. I understand it was a half-shaft problem, Kevin.
Right. Coming out of the hairpin, I think that this car, I'm having used a lot of clutch, and I think I was putting quite a beating on it. We broke the left one yesterday, and the right one broke now.
I know it has to be disappointing. You have a new team, a new car. You had high hopes kind of here in your hometown area, but there's a lot of races left in this season, and I know the development will continue, I'm sure.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the most important races just because it is close to home, but there's 15 more races, which is unique, so we got a lot more to make it up in.
Thank you, Kevin.
Okay, thanks.
Hogan not the only one with early problems. Here's Jose Legarza. The corner marshals reported a little smoke at the back of his car, and now he coasts toward the pits. Out on the course, this battle for fourth place between Daly, Unser, and Andretti continues, and Mario Andretti continues his lead. We'll be back.